What's up, guys? Jeremy Conn here with you. It's the Lowdown, all brought to you by Pickdawgz.com. Make sure you're checking out all the premium plays over there. Please click the like, subscribe button. That helps us out. The notification button to let you know anytime something gets posted. A little bit of house cleaning, some things to talk about briefly. So when I post, excuse me, I just want to reiterate because I know there's new people listening in, and maybe some people catch it like it, maybe you don't. That's up to you. The thing I was going to say about what I do in the mornings and I post my weather algorithm results, and I always put leans by it because it does not mean that I'm betting those games. But if you guys go back to Friday, those games destroyed. Let me see if I can go back to what we had as far as weather on Friday. I should have pulled this up before I hit record, but hey, here we go. This is how things work sometimes. The weather for Friday was the Mets over, hit. White Sox over, hit. Guardians over, hit. Cubs, hold on. Maybe I got the wrong day. Here we go. Cubs under, hit. Pirates over, hit. Twins over, missed by a half. Yankees over. I did not bet that, full disclosure, so I didn't even see how that game finished. I wasn't on that play. Let's go. Again, way to hit record before you start doing this. And the Yankees game went over too, but the reason I wasn't on that play was because of the speculation of Max Fried, and we didn't know what was going to happen, so it was really hard for me to even get on that game by the time I was giving out plays. So the weather stuff, it hits quite often. It's very good. I will try to denote and let you guys know what the best spots were, like I did on Saturday morning. The Cubs over was clearly the best spot on the day for bats, but there were some other sneaky good spots, like the Guardians. And again, I'm recording this before these games have started, so you guys will get a chance to see what happens. You saw what I posted in the morning. There were a lot of just really, really good spots to take a look at on Friday. Saturday, it was the same thing. I think I was ringing Saturday's weather slate here as it was. Yeah, so I'd already sent out the plays. All right, Mets over, White Sox over, Guardians over, Braves over, Cubs over. The best spots, the Mets, the Guardians, and the Cubs. So that's for Saturday's games. You guys can see how they work out. I really buy into this weather algorithm. It's not something I lock into like, oh, my God, it's saying this, because if I see the money going the other way, Saturday's a perfect example because one of the big spots was the Braves over and everybody was on it. So I stayed away from that one. It's picking and choosing the right spots and trying to eliminate ones that are, that you like but don't like as much, because there's no reason, at least in my opinion, I've done it every which way. I mean, I've bet 20, 30 games a day going college football crazy. Sometimes when you have college football, baseball, basketball, everything that can cross over at one point in time, hockey, NBA, we'll get some really weird days where there's a ton of games and it's trying to eliminate the ones that you don't want to, that you feel like you're betting too much. Because I always try to, there are guys that are they'll play a ton of plays, but they're making sure that they're checking how much juice is on it so they're not losing out on the back end, not betting the minus 200 favorites, not betting the minus 160. It's kind of funny as I was looking at player props. Here's another thing I'll say to you. You guys can see all my work here. As I write down all the strikeouts and all the guys above, what the hell did I do with all my sheets? All right, here we go. Sorry. I am a mess this morning. These were all the guys, and there were a few more, but these are the ones that were interesting to me. That were projected to get over 2 bases. And I'm just going to run through them. There's nothing here for you really to look at. You can go back and check them to see how they've done because this is for Saturday. But Buxton, Ohtani, Judge, Tatis, Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, Mike Trout, Trey Turner, Pete Alonso, Brent Rooker, Helio Ramos, Kyle Tucker, Romy Gonzalez, Corey Seager were all favored to get over 2 bases. The weird one is Byron Buxton, who was projected to get almost 4 bases. I think it was like 3.68 in the algorithm that I had. And obviously these are averages and they are predictive. So it's not just like, hey, these are the numbers and spitting it out. It's a predictive algorithm. It takes into account the weather, the matchups, all that stuff. So I love using this and then going back through it. And as I was saying, Byron Buxton was minus 230 to get over 1.5 bases. Yeah, it seems like a lock, but I'm not betting it. It's a weird stuff happens in baseball. I mean, this is a cat that's gotten hit on the wrist a bunch of times in his first at bat, so there's no way I'm betting that. We talked about Ryan Jeffers on Friday, that he just eats 4-seam fastballs. He loves them. They batted him second, And right off the bat, he had a double. He went 4 for 4 in the game, but we just couldn't get over that damn total. I would have had a perfect day Friday. I went 4-1 against the spread, and the one loss was the Rockies over. I just couldn't get away from it looking at the situation where the money was coming in. And when they start off dropping a 5 or 6 spot early in the game, I'm like, here we go. And then sometimes with cores, things just get weird. But yeah, so I'll look at all those guys with over 2 bases that's projected. And then I'll start to look at their price. So like on Saturday, I mentioned Buxton was minus 230. Saturday was actually an okay day. I mean, there were a couple minus 140s with Tatis and Judge. But anytime I see plus money and my algorithm likes them to go over 2 bases, I'm betting it. Pete Alonso on Saturday, plus 105, I'm betting it. And then I'll look for the guys. I try to stay minus 120 and under. Sometimes I can't get away from certain games that I just think the environment's too good, and I'll pay the juice, which, from a math standpoint, it's not the smartest thing to do. Sometimes, I am truly analytical when it comes to things, but I also I've been doing this long enough where it's like you'll find some spots where you'll fade what the analytics are telling you. Maybe you'll buy into a revenge narrative. Maybe you'll buy into something else as far as the gambling goes. I did have somebody yesterday post, and look, I'm all for constructive criticism, but somebody, if you're chiming back in, I'll chime back at you. Don't think I'm one of those guys that's just going to overlook everything. Like, I like to respond. I like to interact. Hopefully there's some things that I'm teaching, mistakes that I've made in the past. Hopefully you guys can learn from them. But I talk about a lot of stuff, man. Look, I do a sports talk radio show. If you want me to come in, and I told this to one of the national networks, was like, hey, man, we need you to have more energy. You need to be more energized when you're doing the show. And I'm like looking at him going, I'm not a fake energy guy. Like, this is what I do. I'll try to make you laugh. Maybe I won't. I know I'm going to be on top of everything I'm talking about because this is what I do. I mean, I just eat, sleep, all of this. This is all, literally waking up early and putting 4 and 5 hours in every single day. When I'm doing weekdays, it's easier with my morning show because I'm doing work throughout the show. Like, I think I'm the only guy that doesn't leave the studio unless I need another cup of water or got to go to the bathroom, and that's few and far between. But to say that I get off the beaten path, it's going to happen. I'm going to ramble. I'm going to talk. If you want me to be a robot and come in and tell you the 4 games and go, hey, these are the 4 games we're talking about, this is what it says, and get out, that's fine. But I'm not sure that's what the people at Pickdawgz want me to do. So I'm going to keep rolling with what I've been doing. You don't like it, that's on you. So sorry. I hope that didn't hurt your feelings, but that's just how it's going to be. And again, like, I am all for constructive criticism on things. If you hear me saying or if I'm being too repetitive on certain things, yeah, then shoot me a message and say, hey, I'm seeing this. But don't be a jackass and say, hey, you're talking about other things too much. You get off topic. It's stupid. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get to the plays, so maybe he'll be happy if he's watching. Let's go and start this off with the Yankees and Braves. I think this is a really, really interesting slate with some of the pitching matchups and what I'm looking at ahead of time with weather. Yankees and Braves, we get Marcus Stroman versus Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes walks a lot of guys, but he also strikes out a lot of guys. You're going to hear me talk about K-to-walk ratio and how it applies with some of these players. Grant Holmes has 100 and some strikeouts, but he's got a whip that's so high. He's walked like 50-some guys this year. I think it's 50, 40, like high 40s. I don't have the number right in front of me. I do think Grant Holmes' K-prop is interesting for today's slate against the Yankees. I am going to lean towards the over in this matchup. The wind's blowing out at almost 10 miles an hour. It looks like it's going towards left. The one thing I want to say is that this could switch from right to left and not be as much of a help to bats. I still think it's slightly a bump with a lot of right-handed bats on both of these teams and having power. If the wind's blowing out to left, even slightly, I'm going to like it. I think the over is the right play. I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be on it unless we get one of those 9.5 totals, but just something to wait and see. And again, I've talked about when humidity picks up on the East Coast. I'm going to mention it in another game here. Actually, the free play I give out where I think there's a spot today that everyone should target. But when we're looking at these plays, I also feel like there's something to be said about the matchup. And I, even though I'm telling you it's a great hitting environment, or I'm trying to let you know those are the spots, I'm looking for that edge. There are times where you could have the most perfect hitting spots and just have pitchers that are either on or the bats are hitting it right at them. Maybe the umpire has a terrible strike zone, because that's another thing that added in. I did a lot of work with that when I was doing more daily fantasy, where I would check umpire data. I do think it helps. Like Bill Miller is the best pitching umpire in all of baseball. Like, he has a wide strike zone. And then there are other guys. I mean, we could probably list about 10 to 12 of those guys that just suck, just like flat out suck. And that's why we want the automated system, balls and strikes. I mean, it has to happen at some point. So, again, Yankees over would be my lean for the first game. All right, let's get to the Giants and the Jays. San Francisco is at Toronto. So we're in a dome, so there's really no concern of the weather. This is a great matchup. Robbie Ray versus Jose Barrios. And I wanted to dive into the numbers a little bit because there's a saying in daily fantasy, when it's Robbie Ray day, you don't play Robbie Ray. It's kind of a, if you guys play daily fantasy, maybe you've heard people say this, because when everybody's on him, things go awry. But man, he is so good. This is the team he went to, kind of cut his teeth again, got back into it. I believe he won the Cy Young with Toronto. And then, of course, you're looking at the situation they were in. They found lightning in a bottle, and they weren't able to keep him. He winds up with the Giants. But he has just been 2.65 ERA, 3-to-1 K to walk ratio, which is just fantastic. And then Barrios has been a 3.75 ERA. He's got a 2-to-1 K to walk ratio. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. He used to be a big K guy. That does not mean he can't get to 6, 7, 8 Ks in a game. But yeah, this is a matchup with a Giants team that has, God, my foot's caught in a cord. I'm sorry. The Giants team that has the best bullpen in baseball as well. I'm going to tell you to take the under here, and maybe I'm being a little chalky if people are going to come in and do that. I think we're going to have a low total in this game. I would not be surprised if it's 7.5 maybe, which is going to make me love the under even more, because I've said this before. Like, when you see those really low totals or those really high totals, so many people are going, wow, that's too many runs. Let's take the under. Or six run game. That's too low of a total. I got to take the over. There's a reason why it's there. I mean, I think the Cubs game is a perfect example of, I told you the Cubs under was the best play on Friday. That was my top play overall. And right off the bat, they score 3 runs in the first. You're like, son of a bitch. How is this going to, this sucks. And then it's 3-1. And then the rest of the game, it was, I believe it finished 3-1. Maybe 4-1, but it went well under the total. And that's what I look at. Like, if I'm betting a game and I'm on the under and I look at it, and you have 18 slots up there, right? 9 for the home team, 9 for the away team. And I look up and I see zeros all over that board, and I see one inning that has 5 runs and another one that has 4, and it magically went over the total of 8.5. I still feel like I'm on the right side. We just had 2 bad half innings. Conversely, like, I'll look at it too when it goes to the over, and I have the same situation and I get lucky. Like, I talk about that as well. But you're hoping at the end of the year all that stuff kind of evens out. With this Giants-Jays game, like I said, the under just looks really, really good. I thought about making it the free play. It's probably going to be a game that I'm on depending on where the money's going in this spot. Let's move on to St. Louis is at Arizona. Some interesting stuff looking inside the numbers here. Merrill Kelly has just been awesome this year. 3.34 ERA, a 1.05 whip. He does not put guys on, and when he does, he limits the damage. I'm wondering what happens with Arizona. It looks like they're going to be sellers if they move anybody, but at home, Kelly has just been fantastic. And one of the things about Miles Mikolas, whatever you want to call him, I like saying Mikolas. Anyway, he has a 4.94 ERA, a 3-to-1 K to walk ratio, and a high-ass whip. So what does that mean? He doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He just doesn't walk anybody. He just gets hit. He hits the bats like nobody's business. Now, if he's working his ground balls, could be a long day. Like, I think he's one of those guys that's going to be a perennial 4 or 5 pitcher in a rotation. You're not upset that you have him. Not a guy that you typically want to bet on. But he'll have his stretches where he actually pitches well. Right now, putting too many guys on base, I'm still going to tell you to take the under in this game. I do think that with a guy that doesn't walk a ton of guys going up against this Arizona team, that they're not going to walk. We're going to have a lot of free swingers. So maybe Arizona is the play when you look at the price tag. I can't see the price tag, so it's hard for me to say, hey, take Arizona. But I love Merrill Kelly at home. I'm going to lean towards the under here. Last play that we're going to get into, didn't see anything as far as, I like to do this for last play. There were only a couple of games that had somewhere near 10 miles an hour wind going out. Once this is posted in the morning, I'm up and I run the weather algorithm. I will look at it and I will list everything where it's leaning. And you can do with that what you will, or you can check out the premium plays over there. Obviously, I'm going to eliminate the bad ones, find the good ones, and then just go at them. And so far this week, I mean, I think I've hit my triple play 3 days in a row. I went 4-1 on Saturday. I swept the board in the WNBA on Wednesday. So it's been a nice week, and I'm hoping to continue this and help build that bankroll. So make sure you're checking out the plays. But this game, this is one all weekend where I think a lot of people were going to go with the under, White Sox and Pirates. We were on the over on Friday. That worked out. We talked about that game with Adrian Hauser. The algorithm liked the over. Full disclosure, I did not bet that game today, but I like the pitching matchup a little bit more, but with the hitting situation and the way that they swung the bats yesterday, or today's Saturday, so the way they swung the bats on Friday might leave you to say, yeah, maybe we need to take a look at the over here. But I think the overplay is going to look good. We have Aaron Savali and Andrew Haney. Haney's numbers, he had been really good so far this year, but his numbers are starting to creep up there. His ERA is approaching 5. The wind is out at 9 miles an hour. It's 87 degrees, light rain. And what have I said? Aaron Savali's a fly ball pitcher. I bet O'Neal Cruz is going to be a great play for over 1.5 bases. I mean, he's always showing up there around plus money because he bats 5th, and he'll have his 0 for 4 games. But man, does he hit the hell out of that baseball! I find myself on him quite a bit when I'm looking at total bases, and the algorithm loves him in certain pitching matchups, great hitting environments. And this is one of those. So, and I've talked about this with light rain on the East Coast or any type of rain when it's really hot, the humidity picks up. It's a huge bump to bats, not only because I think the ball carries when that happens, but I feel like the pitchers just wear out. I mean, you got some guys that are going to change their jersey 2 and 3 times a game because they're sweating so much. So free play will be on the over in the White Sox-Pirates game. Guys, make sure you're checking out everything that Pickdawgz has to offer. That's pickdawgz.com. Plenty of great handicappers over there. If I'm not your guy, there's plenty of good ones. I love doing the morning show and jumping on with some of the guys and seeing how their thought process work. I mean, you guys get to do that and watch all the shows, but there's some really, really sharp guys here, and I just like the way that their minds work. So anyway, we will be back tomorrow with another podcast. I'll go over the baseball games, and we're getting set up here real soon. August 4th is when my throat surgery is, and I'll probably miss about 2 weeks worth of pods, but the good news is I'll be up and ready for football season, hopefully, and back here doing the podcast. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow.